One thing that I don't like about the Shadowrun game though is specifically this idea that you have to, like, if you get implanted with cybernetics, you lose part of your soul. And I know technically that's just flavor, but I don't like that particular kind of flavor in Cyberpunk in general. I really don't like it. It's not even that I'm necessarily arguing that there is or isn't a soul. I just don't like the idea that modifying your body makes you lose your soul. Now, if they want, the way I prefer to flavor it when I run anything like that that has like any kind of mechanic like that, is instead of it losing a part of your soul or whatever, it's just taxing your nervous system more. And your nervous system only has so much capacity to be able to run your cybernetics. And so, up to a certain point, you can pretty freely modify yourself without too much trouble or with only minor amounts of trouble, but you do hit a limit where if you modify past this point, you are brain dead. You just can't. Your brain will overload, your nervous system will shut down, and that you won't exist anymore functionally because you taxed your system to the point where it could not support you anymore. Kind of like cyberpsychosis from Cyberpunk. I mean, cyberpsychosis from Cyberpunk has a little. It There is problems with it, right? I haven't put those thoughts together enough currently to be able to go off on a whole tear about it the way I do other things. But yes, I do have problems with cyberpsychosis from Cyberpunk due to a sort of similar theming. Um, in part because I think this idea of having cybernetic enhancements or cybernetic Jane, please, accommodations. Like, somebody who loses their eyes will get cybernetic eyes, right? Somebody who loses a leg could get a cybernetic leg. These are mobility aids. These are like you all talk, like the whole world talks about curing disabilities, and then the second we talk about how cybernetics could do that, you'll go, oh no, but it makes you less human. You lose a part of your soul, you're gonna go crazy. Oh my god, how dare we modify the human form? Like, shut the fuck up. Shut up. Shut up. Not that you should be required to, like, if you can, if you like have, if you're completely blind and there was a theoretical cybernetic eye that you could be implanted with that would cure your blindness, I don't think you should be forced to do it. And I don't think that accommodations shouldn't be made should you not. But like, you can't talk out of one side of your mouth and being like, we should develop a cure, and then when the cure isn't exactly the way you imagine it, isn't completely natural or whatever, be like, no, that's bad, you have less soul, you're less of a human being. I fucking hate that shit. I hate it so much. What if your brain went nuts and the it couldn't feel the organs that were replaced? I mean, that's a risk. I don't mind like stories where the cybernetics are bad or the corporations running them are doing some shady shit with them or whatever. Like, that's fine. It's specifically this narrative of getting cybernetically enhanced makes you less human or makes you lose parts of or the entirety of your soul. Um, and I know for a fact that that would be something that people would say were these kinds of things real and as prolific as they are in these worlds. It's not that I find them unrealistic. It's that I think that narrative is inherently flawed and dumb and stupid because it presupposes too many things. Ugh. It's just frustrating. It's just frustrating. Um, because that kind of thing could help a lot of people or like help people. It's like when it's similar to like the idea of cyberpunk authors who end up writing explicitly trans positive narratives and then end up being anti-trans. It's sort of like a similar vibe to me, right? Like the altered carbon author is anti-trans. The author of a book where you can pull out a chip from your brainstem and stick it in another body even if that body is a different fucking sex, that guy is anti-trans. You can stick these chips in robot bodies that you can customize at will. That guy is anti-trans? What? That's an explicitly trans narrative. There was a grandma who got put in a gang member's body and was like, look, I'm peeing with no hands. And you're telling me that guy, the guy that wrote that, is anti-trans. That's crazy. That's nuts. That's wild. They don't understand the implications. They must not. Because I don't understand how else they could write such a perfect trans allegory and trans narrative and trans accepting, like, piece of their world and then go, but in real life, that's bad. Even though I don't frame it as bad in my world. Like, they frame it as difficult. In Altered Carbon, like, it's difficult to get used to a new body because, like, it's not the body you've lived in. It, it moves different, it feels different, it has a different weight, possibly a different center of gravity and stuff. Like, all of that's perfectly understandable, but that doesn't frame it as bad. Just difficult. But it's difficult to transition anyway, so, like, I don't get it. I don't know how you can be that stupid.